Hey guys, so we just hit 1,000 subscribers, which kind of blows our minds. But we just wanted to say thank you to each and every one, and give a little bit of like an introduction to us, because we never really introduced ourselves, and then kind of like a little version of how we got where we are today. So those of you that don't know, I'm Brian.
And I'm Diana.
Her name's not really Diana,
It's really Lulu.
but we call her Diana. And it's bright today. So uh, we normally, well, where we live, it's in a rainforest. So it's kind of like Seattle, always kind of gray and raining. But there's days like today where
It's absolutely beautiful.
gorgeous.
You know, they always say there's nothing prettier than a sunny day in Juneau, Alaska, and it's really nice.
That's true. So how do you want to start?
So let's just start at the beginning. We met in 1994.
Well, hold on. I'm from Oklahoma.
And I'm from Alaska.
Now start.
Okay, we met in 1994. I was going to school in Portland, Oregon.
I had just got out of the Army. I did 3 years in the Army, and I knew that I didn't want to go back to Oklahoma. So I was like, hey, Oregon sounds pretty cool. So I moved to Portland.
And I was going to Cascade Christian College in Portland, Oregon. And a friend of ours, Johnny Mock Ross, was going to school with me. And he said, hey, I'm going to introduce you to my friend from Oklahoma. And I think you're going to really like him. So Brian and I went to...
Hold on. So she was going to the Christian college. I was working on Harley Davidsons, so it's your classic bad boy, good girl scenario. And
he wanted to pretend I was a good girl. So we met up at a concert, and like I said, it was 1994, and
for those of you that like rockabilly, it was the Reverend Horton Heat.
And we've been together ever since.
24 years. We've been married 20 years. We've been together 24 years. So that's a long time.
That's a long time.
I mean, for any standards, really. Most of our friends haven't been married that long. Well, they got divorced, but
and
well,
it's been an adventure for the last 24 years with this guy right here.
It's not all rose petals, that's for sure. So, anyways, so then, so I was working on motorcycles, and she was going to college, and then we decided that we were gonna get hitched, have children, and so we left Oregon. I went back into the Army. We left Oregon, moved to Fort Hood, Texas, and that's where our son was born, at Darnell Hospital.
Yep. So we did how many years in the military, and how many years total for you?
So 20 altogether. I did 21 years in the military. Yeah, and so we did everything from big old raven. So yeah, 21 years in the military.
And I think we added up out of the 20 years that we were in the military, like 10 of it was deployed or
gone. Yeah, for about half of the time I was gone. Whether it was NTC, or I forgot what they even called it in Grafenwehr, Germany, TC. And yeah, so okay, so our last duty station was Colorado Springs, Fort Carson, Colorado, and we were lucky enough to stay there for 10 years. And I loosely say we because I stayed there for 5 years. They stayed there for 10 years, and I did 3 years deployed downrange, and then I did 1 year in North Carolina and 1 year in Korea. But we loved Colorado, and so let's get to how we got here now. Basically, we would go camping every weekend that we had off, and I like to rock crawl, so we had a big Jeep, and we'd take our Jeep up in the mountains and go camping, and so we were sitting there in our tent and sleeping bags, and I was like, I love the mountains. Why are we like only spending 2 days out of the 7-day week up here in the mountains? And so I said, we're doing this backwards. We need to be in the mountains 5 days, and we can go to town 2 days. And that was about, I don't know, 10, 11 years ago when we talked about this. And so then we just started planning on how to get there. But Alaska wasn't in the plans. But we ended up here anyways. So basically what happened was the Army got me good. The last year I was in, they sent me to Korea. So I had really no way to like prepare and look for jobs and job hunt and all this and that. So one of her good friends, her childhood friends, said, hey, well, I can get your husband a job at a gold mine here in Alaska. So that's what happened. He got me a job, and so we packed all our stuff up, moved up here to Alaska, and so far so good. So we owned a house in Colorado, and so we sold that house. And don't get me wrong, we were like everybody else, living paycheck to paycheck. But once I retired and started getting my retirement money, and then we sold our house, and we moved up here and started working, and I started getting like 2 incomes. That's where we really got out of debt. So with the selling of the house, we paid off all of our debts. We paid off our truck, and we still had a little bit of cash left over. And then I started working at the gold mine, and I don't know. I mean, we made bank at the gold mine. So we just started saving up a big nest egg, and from that moment on, after we paid off our truck, what else did we owe money on? Nothing really. We had already paid off student loans. We had already started working on paying off all of our debts, all of the credit cards. So the only thing when we moved up here we owed money on was a 2010 Ford F-150. And so when we sold the house, we paid that off, and then just started saving money.
Mm-hmm.
So once we got up here and started saving money, we started building our little nest egg account, and from then on, we only bought things with cash. So we bought the boat, we paid cash for the boat. The cabin itself was a little more than we had, and a lot of these rural, remote areas, you can't finance through a bank, so you have to do either cash, or you can do what they called owner financing.
Which was awesome because they let us do that.
So that's what we did. We paid half of the money up front, and then told them that we'd pay the other half in 3 years. And so we actually paid it off in 1 year, but that's just because we just kept throwing all of our money into the cabin, so we wouldn't have any debt. And then and that was the first year here in Alaska. And then after that, we just started saving money, because I knew I wanted to retire, like just not work no more. And so I worked two extra years after that, just saving up money, because we knew we had things we wanted to get for the house, get for the cabin, and so we saved up a little nest egg for that, and then that's it. Last month I was like, I'm done, and I quit. It was the best thing I ever did so far.
Ooh, that bug got me.
I thought you were like so far. Woo!
So yeah, so we're out here full time, and we're really excited. We've worked really hard and saved a long time to be able to do this, and it's a dream come true. It really is.
It
Um,
is. It is. So now we can stay out here 5 days out of the week and go into town a day or two.
Absolutely. My mom and dad live in town in Juneau, and it's been really nice. You know, when we go stay with them when we're in Juneau, and when we're not, then we're here out at the house. So thank you, mom and dad, for taking such good care of us.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing that you need to do. If you want to do something like this, the biggest thing I can suggest is get out of debt. If you've got debt, then focus on paying off your debt. And once you get your debt paid off, then focus on building up your purchase money, because land, I don't think anywhere is super cheap. I mean, maybe back in Oklahoma, but land's not cheap. Building materials aren't cheap, so you've got to have a big nest egg built up so you can venture out and do a project like this. So we get some questions about how we found the property. Did we use a realtor? And the answer is yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they going?
Squirrels.
Oh, squirrels. So we went and looked up and down the Kenai Peninsula trying to find a place, but I like the mountains. Our dogs are going crazy. She likes the water, so this has got both. Them dogs are crazy. So this has got both. So this is where we settled up, and her parents are in town, so that way we can always help them, you know, do snow removal, and if they need anything, we're here for them. So did we use a realtor? Kind of. We looked around a lot on our own, and then when we got here, we started thinking about buying land on one of these islands, because there's several islands in this area. So yes, we eventually went to a realtor and said, this is what we knew where we wanted to look. So we said, this is the property we want to look at, because at that time we didn't have a boat. And so...
And actually, we were looking at a lot that was...
same island, just on the north side of the island.
Right, and it had a huge bluff.
It's probably like a 20-foot cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyways, the guy that we was talking with, the realtor, he said, well, another couple just listed a cabin, same island, just on the east side. Would you be interested? And we said, sure, we'd love to go take a look at it. So we all came over here and looked at it and made an offer, I think, the next day.
Mm-hmm.
We were like,
Yeah.
let's do it. And yeah, so can you find land in Alaska without a realtor? Absolutely. But if you're not living here, it makes sense to if I had to do it again and I didn't live here, I would get with a realtor. I would find properties, have him find properties that you're interested in, and then I would take a trip.
You need to take many trips and never buy sight unseen in Alaska. We've heard some stories, some incredible stories. There's a whale out here.
And we got a whale visiting us.
Oh, there he is. Yes, we've heard some incredible stories about people in the lower 48 who want to live the Alaskan dream. So they decide to buy property sight unseen in the middle of nowhere in Alaska, and most of the time it doesn't work out for them. This is
And it's always good to look at your property because there's a lot of stuff that's what they call muskeg, which is like swampy kind of area. And so, I mean, just looking at a piece of paper or some pictures, they may not include that it's got some muskeg on it. So I would definitely come, fly down here, look at all the properties that they assembled for you, and then you can make a choice. And I would also, I mean, if you're really dead set on it, I would take a trip in the winter and the summer because it's pretty much extreme differences, especially in the interior. Here in the southeast, we get around 70 to 80 degrees in the summertime, and we get about 20 degrees in the wintertime. So we don't fluctuate a whole lot, but like Fairbanks, for example, they get like negative 40 in the wintertime and like 90, 80, 90 in the...
No, just 80.
Well, okay, but it can get up to 90.
Our average temperature here in the summertime is 55. So it can get up to 70.
Yeah, so in the summertime, our average temperature is 55 high and probably like 40 low. So in the summertime, we don't really fluctuate too much. I mean, you just wear a long sleeve shirt and you're good. So yeah, I would definitely take a trip though. That's my big piece of advice is come to Alaska first and see if it's all that in a bag of chips. I mean, it is for me, and she grew up here, so it is for her because she wanted to come back. But some people may come up here and just be like, ugh, hate it. No big deal. Our little dog's wanting love. What else were we going to talk about? Was that it?
Oh. That's how we got where we are today.
Yeah. Make good financial decisions, I think.
Let's stop talking about financial decisions.
Well, that's the big part of it. We wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't have our finances together. Right or wrong?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. You're supposed to give it a thumbs up.
Okay, do it again.
So if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, you can hit that subscribe button. If you want, we'd love to have you around. And we just want to say thank you for watching. We hit 1,000 subscribers. Blown away. That's crazy. But anyways, thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
And a special shout out to Kenny, who's in Colorado. You need to come and visit. Love you guys.
Come visit, Kenny. Oh, even Luca wants you to come visit. Okay, bye. Come on, Luca. Let's get out of here.